Hi, second graders. Today we're working on Skills Unit 3, lesson number 14. During our skills lesson today, we're going to read some words using the schwa spelling. You have some independent activities on your Google Forms that you guys will be completing. Fill in the blank using the correct word based on the sounds and spellings that we've been practicing. And we are going to be reading the story called The Letter today. So you guys have learned several spellings that match different sounds recently, and the focus has mostly been on vowel sounds, okay? Most recently you guys learned the schwa sound. Remember when we make the schwa sound, it sounds like this, okay? And there's lots of different spellings for the schwa sound, and we also talked about schwa plus ul, so A-L-I-L-E-L-L-E, right? So we learned all of those schwa words, okay? You are going to be working on schwa sound activities on your Google form today. And there's questions pulled from 14.2 and 14.3 in that Google form, okay? What I would like to focus in on is the story called The Letter from our reader, Sir Gus, okay? Now, in the letter, we learned, we read it yesterday, but we're going to reread it today. We talked about some of the vocabulary that we would run into, and we said, for example, the word summoned means called to do something. Dazed means that you're confused. A llama is a four-legged animal that's related to a camel. Astonished means completely surprised. And then fearsome means causing fear or dread, okay? So in the story previous to this, remember, the king and his knights went out on a boat, and there was something that came after them. Does anyone remember who it was? It was the pirates. Good. So the pirates came after King Alfred and his knights on the boat, and they wanted to steal or capture the boat and King Alfred. Now Sir Gus, who seems to be lucky most of the time with where he is, he's not very brave. He's usually afraid of things. Not only is he afraid of water, but he gets very, very seasick. And when somebody gets seasick, it's motion sickness. It means that he felt like he was about to be sick while he was on that boat. So he was way down on the bottom of the boat, and he was making these awful noises because he didn't feel well, and it sounded like, oh, right? Because he wasn't feeling so good. And when the pirates heard that sound, they said, what is that noise? And the knight said, that is the ghost on the ship. And everybody knows that pirates are afraid of ghosts. So it turns out that the pirates left them alone. But they only left them alone because they thought there was a ghost there. Was there actually a ghost on the boat? It was Sir Gus making those noises from down below because he wasn't feeling so good. So in today's story called The Letter, we're going to find out what happens next. They narrowly escaped being able to being captured by the pirates, okay? So I'm looking for the story called The Letter, and I can use my table of contents to find it. I see it says Chapter 8, The Letter, begins on page 70. We're cruising through this reader, guys. All right. The story of how Sir Gus saved the king from pirates traveled across the land. People began to tell tales of brave Sir Gus. The king thanked his knights and gave them presents. Sir Gus was given a shiny medal and a silver cup. Then, after several parties at the palace, the knights went back to their homes. The king remained peaceful and calm. The kingdom remained peaceful and calm for several months. Then one day, the king was given a letter that told of danger. What does it mean that the story traveled across the land? What did they mean when they said it traveled across the land? Yeah, it means that they told. Everybody was telling the story and say, did you hear what Sir Gus did? Is Sir Gus actually brave? No, but King Alfred thinks he is, doesn't he? So the king got this letter. He's in danger. It says the king summoned his knights to the palace. Just as before, 11 of the 12 knights arrived at once. Who do you think didn't arrive on time? However, it was several days before Sir Gus the Utterly Fearless appeared, looking dazed and dented. "I'm glad to see that you have arrived at last," said the king. Sir Gus knelt down. "Your Majesty, I apologize for my late arrival. I had a nasty run-in with a llama near the old stone bridge," explained the knight. "A llama?" exclaimed the king. "I didn't know that we had llamas in our kingdom." "Indeed, nor did I, your Majesty," replied Sir Gus. It's an odd thing to get into a scuffle with, a llama. Then the king called an assembly. Remember, an assembly is a gathering of people for an event. So when we used to do Student of the Month in the gym, we would call that an assembly. So the king called an assembly of all his brave knights. "Good knights," said the king, "my people have told me that there is a fearsome beast in the bleak forest of the east. It is said that this beast can make flames come out of its mouth. Which of you noble knights will do battle with this terrible beast?" Sir Gus was looking at a fly buzz around the room, so he didn't hear much of what the king said. He did not see that his fellow knights had all taken a step back, leaving him standing alone in front of the king. "Once again, Sir Gus the utterly fearless will save us," proclaimed the king as he patted the rather astonished knight on the back. Sir Gus looked puzzled. The other knights smiled and chuckled. Did Sir Gus really volunteer to go fight the fearsome beast? But guess what? He was distracted when the king was talking about it. He was looking around at a fly buzzing. He wasn't listening. Everybody else took a step back. So Sir Gus was right in front of the king when he said, "Who will do it?" Sir Gus was looking astonished. He was very surprised. Okay, so I want you to think about, based on what you already know about Sir Gus, do you think he will be able to win against the fearsome beast? And do you think he'll be able to win because he's actually a good fighter, or do you think something lucky will happen for him again? Remember, you do have your spelling assessment for tomorrow's lesson. So after this lesson, make sure that you are practicing your words so that you're ready to go for tomorrow. And on your Google form, you're going to answer some questions about the letter and practice with some fill in the blanks using our different schwa spellings and sounds that we practiced so far. Nice work today. Go ahead and get started on that. Make sure you practice your spelling words, and we will see you tomorrow.